Welcome back to PISObilities. This is Guita Gopalan of Colayco Foundation.
And I'm Mags Paguyo, also from Colayco Foundation. Our episode is all about freelancers in the Philippines. We are still joined by our guests, Mr. Dart Tiglao and Mr. Jonah Pakulan. And don't forget, for our viewers, just send your opinions and questions to 0917-853-7333 and kindly indicate your name and location so we can properly acknowledge you.
Okay, so kanina off cam, you were talking about, I guess what are the biggest things that you had to work through? I mean, especially starting out. Ano ba yung mga nalaman nyo na, natutunan nyo na? I think that's something that our audience would really appreciate. Maybe we can start with Dart.
Marami-rami din yan. Kasi, up to now, even 10 years na ako nag-freelance, so many things na I'm still learning. Pero ang biggest siguro dyan, syempre related to people eh. How do clients want to be addressed, or how do you talk to them properly na hindi sila parang na-hard sell. Yung technical side, surprisingly that's quite easy.
The technical
side, oo,
okay.
na maraming pwede tumulong sa iyo, and there's Google now, you can learn so fast in the technical side. Pero sa dealing with people talaga na how to choose the right clients, and how to, not just the clients, how people you work with, other freelancers, other companies. Siguro yun yung continuous challenge.
So like really building and maintaining your network.
Yes, and exactly. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that I have to agree. Because especially in my industry as well, networking is very, very important, because it's very true that they say that your network is connected to your network, and it's very true then for voiceovers. When I first got into freelancing, of course you start off, you don't really know a lot of people, not a lot of money is coming in. The first thing I really had to learn was to relate to people, because I'm usually very shy when it comes to. It doesn't seem obvious now, but that was back then. So yeah, you learn how to relate to people. You learn how to, I don't want to call it push their buttons, but really just make sure that they feel good whenever they're around you, and also you learn how to market yourself. How to draw the fine line between ang galing-galing ko and but hire me. Alam mo yun? You learn how to balance things. You learn how to.
When you guys were starting out, how do you know that you're already good enough to go out there and do independent work or freelance work? How do you gauge it na, okay, with the skills I'm good at, okay na to service this potential client?
Sa akin parang din kay Jonah kasi yung first few clients mo by chance lang din eh.
So nilapitan ka parang
so tumaas yung confidence mo, and without even looking for a client yet, 'di ba? Parang nakaano ka na, teka, sige try ko pa, baka hintay-hintay muna ako, baka may magtanong pa
How necessary is it to be good at something? I mean, parang kailangan ba magaling ka at something before you start doing freelance?
Sa akin it's important na talagang just to solve a person's problem or a company's problem. Minsan, we get, lalo na mga creative people, nasa creative industries, lalo na freelancers, may tendency na to stick too much, to get obsessed with the craft, which is good. Pero in the end, kailangan mo alamin ano ba talaga kailangan ito. Baka you're going overboard, tumatagal na yung timeline, hindi mo na naasikaso kung ano talaga yung kailangan.
Parang kayo, talagang ako ang negosyo ko. Parang gano'n.
Parang gano'n.
Right.
And actually, Dart makes a really good point. There's a balancing act that you have to do between your craft and what your client needs. So, to answer your question, do you need to be really good? Well, of course, it's a big plus if you are good, but you have to look at it in the context of what your client needs. Yes, it's good to be good. It's good because it will help you meet your client's needs in a more efficient way, in a better way, and in a way that will make them happier.
Kasi tingin ko, dahil kaya madalas din yung tanong sa amin yan, may thinking na you have to compete with each other eh. Pero minsan ang pinaka-competitive edge mo is na nakausap mo na matino yung yung tao and they clearly know what you'll give them. So after na siguro yung hindi naman after pero on the side keep on improving your craft pero pa rin you focus on what they need rather than what you think na na mga bells and whistles sa services mo.
Yeah.
So since you guys are your own bosses, how do you price your projects? Kasi basically, kayo na rin ang nagde-decide if you're gonna take a certain project or not. So how do we do that? Who wants to answer first?
That is
Sir Jonah.
That is because I get the feeling he has a better answer. So let's just work our way up. Okay. That is a perpetual problem that's a perpetual issue for freelancers because you have to cater your service you have to cater your price to depending on who you're talking to. So maybe you're talking to a big company, the negotiation will change. Maybe you're talking to a friend who's just asking for a favor, the negotiation will change. It's something. At the end of the day, I think what's important is you have your own. This is very abstract, but you have to have your own personal price tag for yourself. That
May sarili kayong presyo.
parang ganun.
Hindi na kayo priceless.
Tama yung sabi niya.
Kidding.
Exact,
You
ganun na ganun din eh.
really need the
Oo.
price. Okay.
Parang sa loob mo, meron kang may standard ka sa sarili mo. But when you're in front of a client, may perception din sila and kailangan mo talaga i-gauge yung best suited for this client. Kasi kung sobrang baba rin sa certain clients magdududa naman even though covered mo na cost mo with profit. So tansyahan sa akin mahirap right now kunyari sa part ko na web design, may mga web design groups and they're talking about standardized natin price or ito dapat hourly kayo lahat sa akin in the end siyempre meron kang alam mong ito siguro price ko na gusto ko makuha. Pero when you're talking to exactly kung small businessman or a friend, tapos you talk to a really multinational company, di ba? You have to adjust. And that's where being an entrepreneur comes in. Na you see, makikita mo yung price mo sa particular market na to is different from a different environment. Depende sa environment ka. Depende sa
Can I
space
ask
you
a
work.
question, Dart? Did you get into any classes, certification on the technical aspects of your field? May mga ganun ba?
Meron naman. At that time, siguro just to have ma-build up ko yung confidence ko, nag-informatics ako for, may short course na ito parang online professional something. Pero years back pa.
For skills building.
But the thing is, ngayon, sa internet, sobrang bilis nung development, nung technical stuff na pwede mo matutunan. So, you have to go on a bigger, you look at it from a bigger picture, yung kailangan ng client. And the smaller things, mga mas technical, yun, that's where you have to tap your network kung sino pwede tumulong sa'yo.
I see.
Technical skills. Honestly,
Yes, is there a voice-over school? I mean, how did you learn to do what you do?
This may seem a little weird, but I just grew up loving. I grew up being very artistic. I started singing when I was 6 years old, and then my brothers and sisters will attest to this. I just kept imitating the voices of the cartoon characters. And who would have known? I would have made someone.
Sir Jonah, before we forget later, sample nga ng iyong voice-over talent.
Well, I guess my parang my ace. I tell people, oh, you did this. I do that Chowking commercial. I've been doing the Chowking commercials for the past maybe year and a half. So, what's the latest Chowking commercial? The golden chine. So, ano yan? Lutong, lambot, linamnam, ng new Chowking golden Chinese pork rice. There, something like that. That's what I do for a living, man.
A round of applause.
Yeah.
So for that, I guess wala. There's no classes. There's no certification.
I've heard. I've researched. I did some research on that because I do want to get into like a voice school if there is one. Pero there isn't one here. But I've heard that in the States there is schools for how to do proper voices and stuff like that. But here,
Hindi-
the
wala.
yeah, but
Mentorship siguro. Yung older ones.
not even that. It's more of it's more of you have to teach yourself. Personally, I watch commercials. I try to imitate the voice. When I see a when I see a character that I find interesting, I just imitate that too. There's a dito kasi sa voiceovers talagang self-taught.
Here, I think one thing that I'd like to parang get into is like, how do you build your credibility? No? Kasi, diba, one way is, you get a course, somebody certifies na, hey, I graduated like this, I got this, certified, ganyan. Parang, when you're starting out, how do you build, I guess, credibility aside from, you've been doing this the longest, no? Like, how did it come about? Eventually, yung 10 years mo of experience, it says it all, diba? But, like, starting out, how do you build that?
That's the thing eh. I was never asked yung background ko. Never, parang, I don't remember any client asking me, pakita ng diploma mo or pakita ng certification mo.
Yeah.
Which is partly the industry kasi. It's still new for the whole internet thing, website, social media, it's still new. So wala rin naman maka-offer nun. Meron ngayon, may mga courses, pero still, from my experience, they never asked me. What they asked, or how they got to know me is na they heard of a certain project I did. So, yun ang para maging resume mo eh, your projects eh. Na you don't even have to write it down. Pag-usap, ano ba yung nagawa mo? Itong company to, ako sa kanila, let's say, nag-increase ng number of visitors, or ako yung nag-design ng website, or ako yung naggawa ng back-end. So, being able to say that, credibility mo na yan, of course, and your network din. So, in terms of paper, yung parang paper proof, wala masyado
So,
eh.
you like
Surprising.
referral, parang goodwill then with, I guess, past clients.
Yeah, oo. One thing, I have one thing na happened to me. I wanted to go to this marketing event na mahal yung ticket, I'd say 5,000. Parang internet nothing about internet actually. Just a marketing event na tuturuan ka paano mag-market. And I didn't have cash for 5,000 yata. What I did, I emailed the organizer and say, hey, you have an event this coming month. Gawa ako ng quick website lang about the event. And surprisingly, they said yes. And I called them, I finished na after a few days. Okay lang can I get a free ticket? Okay, I'll give you 3. So, it's like that eh. Parang nagkataon din, and you had the parang guts na to ask for this project without any pay, pero may makuha kang free ticket di ba? May exchange din eh. So yun, I had that, meron na akong credit, kahit na I didn't get paid for it, I did the quick website of this event.
Basically, you build your credibility through the work that you do. So it's the same way in voiceovers. When I started doing things, and then I started doing my first work, and then they said, "Uy, okay to." And then and then it starts catching on, and then maybe the people in the ad agencies thinking, "Uy, parang okay tong si Jonah." And then people start hearing out. It breeds it. Good work breeds more work. You can think
More
of it that
clientele list.
More clientele list.
Right.
Because I heard a story that was told to me by one of my friends in the voiceover industry. There was one time na discover siya, because she does dubbing kasi. But there was one time, in one show that she did, na discover siya kasi narinig nung director of the show, narinig nung director yung boses niya sa TV. Uy, sino gumawa ng boses nung I kid you not, that's how it worked. So, sino yung boses nung gumawa ng commercial na yun? And then they contacted her, and then she got the gig. And this has happened to me as well, because apart from voiceovers, I also do dubbing work. And I would never have gotten that dubbing work had a producer, because I usually work with producers, had a producer not recommended me to that studio who does the dubbing work. It breeds talaga. You hang your hat on good work. So when you're a freelancer, you can't really, if you really want to be successful as a freelancer, you can't really take clients off or take projects off, because this is a good thing to keep in mind. You're only as good as your last project. You can think of it that way.
What are, I guess, like to summarize, ano ba yung benefits? Like you guys have been doing this for some time. What are the like real benefits for you of being a freelancer?
Of course, everything's related to time na ano magagawa mo. And ano rin it's how I got my clients din. I have lots of different interests. I try to get into different sports or different activities, and with having a good flexible time, I can do those things, and even smaller stuff na makes you happy, yung parang spending time with family and friends.
Yeah.
Ang laking value talaga. For example lang, it happens all the time in most families. May mga certain emergencies or may certain things to do sa house or even errands, di ba? I'm thinking, paano if everyone's 9 to 5, how do you take care of, di ba? Parang yung lagi iniisip ko kunyari kung may lola ka or sa house mo, di ba? Parang somebody has to be able to take time off to do certain necessary things or certain important things. So, yun talaga sa akin, the time talaga na you can do in more
It's a huge it's a I guess you can call it a cliche na parang hawak mo yung oras mo. It's when you're a freelancer, when I became a freelancer, only then did I really appreciate how much that gave me having my own time, because I don't since I don't have to be in an office, I can go somewhere, I can learn things that I want to learn, kind of like Dart. You can pursue other things that interest you. That's pretty much the biggest advantage.
Okay, with that, Sir Jonah, since you guys are mentioning your lifestyle and how it is,
Okay.
one by one, first off, Sir Jonah, from let's say the time you wake up till end of the day, what do you guys do?
Okay.
Since kayo na din nagsabi, hawak niyo oras niyo.
Well, when I wake up, okay, that's a hard question because it changed. That's a very hard question because
The usual day.
the usual day, basically, if you want to put it in one sentence,
Yes.
I wake up and I wait for the phone to ring.
Okay.
because that's how it is with voiceover.
In advertising.
Yeah, you get casted into, because in
In a
audio
studio,
in a
yeah.
studio, there are what you call casters, and these casters are in charge of getting the proper voice for this commercial. So if a producer says, "Uy, kailangan ko ng boses na ano."
So you literally know it the morning of or the day before.
Yeah,
or ganon.
I literally know what will happen to me the next day, the day before.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
for you, Sir Dart?
Sa akin din, iba-iba per day. Siguro per week, let's say, twice a week I do meetings, mga client calls or mga follow-up calls, mga face-to-face meetings. The rest of the day, the rest of the week, siguro, let's say, 1/4 of the day, just checking up on the current projects, ano yung mga kulang. Part of it then, coordinating with my fellow contractors, fellow freelancers. So, basically, sa morning siguro titignan ko lahat ng mga current projects. Ano yung mga kulang pa or medyo madidelay or tapos after nun, siguro, medyo pa badging ka rin. Titignan mo, Kasi the thing very hard sa freelancers din or hawak mo oras mo, yung decision-making abilities mo, sobrang stressful yan actually What to do, what to think, or how to deal with this situation. It's not something na, wala kang manual Wala ka na follow na Ideally, meron siguro, it can help you. May sarili kang checklist. What to do on a day, on a weekly basis. It helps a lot. Pero, in terms of mga very different situations, different clients, different projects, you have to take a lot of time na upo ka lang, teka, tama ba ginagawa ko?
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, when there's no legitimate answer, no surefire answer, you just gotta go. There's a huge, siguro to touch upon siguro a disadvantage of being a freelancer. There's a huge sense of uncertainty when you're a freelancer that you really have to learn to embrace. Since yun nga, as Dart mentioned, walang manual. There's no manual on, wala namang book in school that says how to be a voiceover.
Right.
Or how to be
Okay.
an internet marketer.
I see.
There's an
So if thank you very much for sharing all these opinions and then, your experiences. If there are people that would like to get in touch with you regarding your specific experience or expertise, how can they get in touch with you? Maybe you can start with Jonah.
Basically, you can call me on the phone. You can. Do I just?
Yes, please
is this
plug
my-
your
is this the plug
number.
segment?
Yes.
All right. For any voiceover concerns, you can contact me at 0917-810-3659. That's 0917-810-3659.
All right. Thank you, Jonah. And user Dart.
Okay, sa akin just email lang. Primary way of contacting me through email. So, dartiglao@gmail.com.
So that's DART.
Yeah, DARTTIGLAO.
Okay.
I'll be happy to help anyone for parang idea how to start freelancing.
Okay. So if anyone's interested or would like to get in touch with our guest today, you can also just text us on 0917-853-7333.
Please do.
So our show is just starting to get interesting, and we have more in store for you. So send your questions or opinions about freelancing to 0917-853-7333. When we come back, we'll take a broader look into freelancing in the Philippines with our new guests. Stay with us here on PISObilities at GNN.
You're still watching?
Di ko sinasabi sa'yo na magkakakotse ka next year o magkakakondo ka next year. Di ko sinasabing magkaka-house and lot ka na may swimming pool at sariling bakuran o magiging manager ka ng sarili mong fast food restaurant. Di ko sinasabing makakapag-European tour kayo ni Mrs. next month o mapapag-aral si Bunso sa UP at si Kuya sa Ateneo sa susunod na pasukan. Di ko sinasabi ang lahat ng ito para bulahin ka na maraming pwedeng mangyari sa buhay mo bukod sa kung ano ang meron ka ngayon. Ang sinasabi ko lang, walang mangyayari kung manonood ka lang. Tawag ka o text mo kami o i-click mo ito www.kskcoop.com. Sabi ko sa'yo, posible ang mga ito.